He does its wheelie thing.
Yep.
Alrighty. Yep, we're up. We're live. Okay, so welcome to Immersive Sports Science, not bro science. Today we've got El Capitan himself, Robbie J, Rumboyz Fantasy Network.
What is going on, Adam? Thank you for having me, brother. Thank you. Second time being on your channel, so I'm super excited.
Okay, so sorry.
I said this should be a fun experience.
Yeah, definitely. This is my first live stream, so bear with me. I might not be up to speed, and really we're going to be talking about quite a sensitive topic in a way. It's linked to the coronavirus, Covid-19, and discussing its impact on sport and the global impact it may have, and the potential recession that will, most people are guessing, will happen after it. What I want to ask now is, most of the world are in quarantine. There's been a lot of deaths quite recently, so we're going to be mindful of that throughout this recording and production. So what is it really from your end? How are things? How is it? Are you being quarantined? Is it lockdown out there in the US?
So funny story, I guess, in a way. We had a text come to all of our phones last night. Right. We got a nice little gentle buzz that let us know that here in our state, where I live in Colorado, the city of Colorado Springs, we went ahead and we went underneath our lockdown per se. Here in North America, a lot of people did not take to it very well. But that's just Americans in nature, and that's how we are, you know, like our Constitution and our rights, you know, where it's like, hey, there's something invisible, there's a pandemic that is the enemy right now, and we have to band together, we have to fight that enemy by staying inside and remain behind closed doors right now.
Yeah, and yeah, it's one of those weird ones. It's the enemy is obviously the virus itself, and what do you do to prevent a virus spreading? You prevent the means for it to spread. So it's, in a liberal democracy, it's kind of counterintuitive to put in draconian measures.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, here, just the way that a lot of people think, you know, especially the younger generation. I'm very highly urging the younger generation, the college kids. They're like, oh, well, my spring break is ruined. Listen, you need to relax. Hopefully we get some summer still, and let's just do our part. Think of. I always like to tell people, think of things in a positive light. Look for a silver lining in everything. Think of how beautiful the earth and the world and nature is going to be whenever we're all able to step back out there, you know, and enjoy it. I mean, and it's not like you can't go out. Like, well, here at least, you know, like if you got to walk your dog, go walk your dog. You know. But I mean, at the same time, you know, be mindful. Don't go out in groups. You know, don't be around groups more than 10 people. Unfortunately, we had to go underneath this lockdown process here in America, and here where I live in Colorado, because people weren't taking it serious. People were still going out in big biking groups on trails and not caring, you know, and still going like hiking. You know, that's what people here in Colorado do. Like, we have the Rocky Mountains. It's beautiful. Like, when there's nice weather, everyone wants to go out.
Yeah, it's something similar here as well. Like, we're effectively under lockdown, and we're not allowed to. You're allowed to leave the house once a day, which is to exercise, or to buy food. But I will go to, if you're considered an essential worker. But other than that, you're meant to be in your home or in the grounds of your home, and
Right.
2 meters away, so just over 6 foot away from anyone else to keep socially distancing from them. So yeah, so it seems very similar to what you guys got over there.
Yeah.
Talking about what you said about not taking it seriously. Quite interestingly, quite a lot of people thought, well, if I'm going to socially distance here in the, say, for instance, the UK, we're going to, and there's a great example of this. You just see cars and cars and cars, like literally in Powys, which is in Wales, and it's probably one of the remotest parts of the UK. And you just see like car park with loads of people from, yeah, I might as well go out, enjoy the sun. I get to avoid. The problem is everyone's had that idea.
No, see, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't like when. Yeah. So for me, when I realized that the NBA closed, when the NBA closed, I was actually on air when that happened. I actually called the last game that had taken place, which was the Denver Nuggets versus the Dallas Mavericks.
Right.
So I was on air when, you know, Rudy Gobert tested positive. Like I was on air, like in the midst of all of that, seeing all of this unfold in a matter of minutes, in a matter of seconds. I watch a whole division of my business, which is play-by-play. I watched it just disappear, vanish like that, you know. And that was when I knew, okay, I need to go ahead and I need to quarantine myself. If there is a $1 billion entity, a $1 billion business like the NBA that is capable of just completely shutting down, then clearly I need to take this serious. So I've been self-quarantined for about 2 weeks now. 2-3 weeks almost, it feels like.
Yeah.
You know, it's been weird. It's been a journey. Still trying to, you know, provide content, and I have been trying to take advantage of the fact that I have time now. I mean, I was always providing daily content before, but now I have to try a lot harder. Those of us that do podcasts, we're able to be creative, and we're able to, you know, come on, you know, live streams and like this, you know, of course you in the UK, be here in North America, and we're able to provide those different perspectives, and we're still able to provide content and do things, you know, to create content just to keep people engaged, and to keep people enjoying the sports.
I think that's quite an interesting stat about online content, and the fact that everyone is this was done before coronavirus really hit Europe and then started to move across into the US, but they expected that everyone would consume 60% more online content than what they would have done if they were at work.
Yep.
That's everyone worldwide. So
yeah, now people are consuming more content, and they're checking out more content now more than ever. And I feel like that's one of the things that you kind of got to do in a way to keep yourself sane during this time period.
Yeah.
You know, find a YouTube channel, a podcast, something or the other to listen to or watch, to keep your mind off of what's going on outside. I mean, and what's so crazy about everything that's happening right now is we can't see it, we can't feel it, we can't touch it, you know. So it's not something that we can go after and we can actually, you know, fight one-on-one, you know. So that's one of the scary parts.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The world hasn't seen really a disease kill like this since the Spanish flu in I can't remember the age, but basically after the First World War. So we haven't seen anything like, or no one's ever experienced it. Not a lot of people know about the Spanish flu and what it done to the world. And it's trying to learn new habits that are seemingly alien to people, like wanting to be close to. We have to be 2 meters away. That just, or not being able to socialize as such. So it's trying to find those ways to do this in the absence of things like sport, which generally brings people together in heart-centered situations.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Right now, we are. I bet one of the things that I miss the most is human interaction.
Yeah.
Going to your local bar, or in your case the local pub. Am I correct?
You're
Yes,
both
that's
correct
what you guys
technically,
call
because a
it.
pub's different to a bar, but yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, damn. But no, I mean, going out to your local bar and watching watching sports on TV, with your buds. That's something that we're not able to do. That's something that we're not able to indulge in right now. Going to a live game, like right before all of this happened, I was literally at a hockey game. Little did I know that was going to be my last live sporting event at the Pepsi Center, which is where the Denver Nuggets play, and the Colorado Avalanche. So, little did I know that was going to be the last live event that I was going to go to, and that was like about a 2-week difference between, and that's how that I want to educate people really quick. COVID-19, it triples by in strength, and in numbers over about a 48 to 72 hour period. So just imagine 2 weeks I was in the very building that all of these basketball players, media, and so on and so forth are in. And I'm like, right. So I was practically front row, close to everything. They're going all the way back to that timeline. There could have been someone in that crowd that could have been affected.
Oh yeah. Seemingly almost so, because it's a 2-week incubation period as well. So you could be 2 weeks in, not know you had it, and then suddenly you thought you fell ill, in which case you probably infected probably 5, 6. I don't want to speculate because I'm not a
doctor. Yeah, I'm not.
But
exactly,
you could have definitely infected quite a few people in that time. It's kind of scary to think that way, because you infecting someone could potentially put that person's life at risk. Yeah. And that's for me saying that, for me, myself included in that. But yeah.
What I've really tried to get across to people, especially the ones like we mentioned that aren't taking it serious, is think of it as if it was, your family member, that was sick. Everyone's like, oh, well, I don't have to worry. The first initial reaction was people, I don't have to worry because I'm young and I don't have to. I'm not around old people. Well, you don't know who else is around who else, and so on and so forth. All it takes is that one visit to grandma.
Yeah.
Infants are their bodies are practically defenseless.
If they're a few months old, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely want people to think as if, and why you need to take this serious, and why you need to, follow the steps and practice social distancing and self-quarantining, self-isolation, is because, to be honest, like I said, think of it as if it was your family. Think if it was like your favorite athlete that you looked up to.
Yeah. Quite a few athletes have been impacted by it as well.
Karl Anthony Towns from the Minnesota Timberwolves. We just got news this morning. First, his mom. We had news yesterday, as about 2 days ago. His mom now in a coma, in a state of a coma due to COVID-19, and now his father has now tested positive for COVID-19 as of this morning.
That's crazy.
And on top of that, it took the Olympics long enough to be able to cancel.
Yeah, they were put under a lot of pressure, and then I think it was when they was it Pounder when he said, oh, we'll give it 4 weeks. And then it was only when the pressure of the US Federation came and said, no, we're going to take our team out. And if you do something, then there's like, okay, now we need to interact and react to it. So it's amazing how it took the pressure of one of the better performing nations in the Olympics on the medal table to force them to make a decision. I find that personally quite amazing. It's like, why do you need to take 4 weeks when you've had months to make a decision on the matter?
When the whole world is affected, what I found interesting is the whole entire world is affected by the exact same thing. Usually, what's happening here in America, you guys aren't dealing with there. You have a different set of problems there.
Yeah.
With this, we all have the same problem.
Yeah.
We all have this self-isolation, self-quarantine, dealing with this virus in common. And I find it interesting that the Olympics were the final league to kind of be like, we'll postpone. We'll postpone them. Like we don't know what's going to happen.
And it's like, no, that's not good enough because the athletes can't train in some cases.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what you can do, you can have a load of guys and girls there running the 100 meters in slow times or not being able to play or perform at their top performances. So do you want to have the credibility and the integrity of the Olympics affected, or do you want good quality sport and safe sport as well? Safe sport.
You gotta. So you have to look at it from the business aspect too. You want to get that money. You have to think about what it takes to put on the games. Even now, here in America with baseball, the MLB, they're like, we're going to play as many games as we can. Whatever that means, especially when there's already 182 games in that sport.
Yeah,
businesses are trying to figure out and trying to clamor to the fact of how can we have a balance of we need to get back our money that we just lost out on, and then at the same time be able to provide high quality sports.
Yeah.
There's many sports analysts in my field that are saying, oh, well, because of the time period that athletes are having to be able to rest and rehabilitate, that there should be an asterisk next to their championships in this upcoming season. You take LeBron James, for example. I'm sure everyone has heard of the analyst Colin Cowherd. No, I believe that this was Skip. This was Skip Bayless that said this. Okay. I want to make sure I quote my colleague correct. And Skip Bayless essentially stated that LeBron James, if the Lakers win a championship this year, there should be an asterisk next to it due to the fact that he got extra time to rehabilitate at the age of 35 playing the sport of basketball.
Yeah.
That's not how any of this is going to work. Here's my take on this. These guys come back, healthy or not, we got to pick up life as if none of this ever happened. First damn thing I'm doing is going to get a haircut. That's first off. Second off, though, I mean, we have to pick up life. I know it, bro. It's getting bad. But no, we got it
over again.
It's so quarantine life, man.
Yeah. Hashtag quarantine life.
It's brutal. But no, on a for real note, though, I mean, we have to pick up life as if it never stopped. I thoroughly once we are able to, from an economical standpoint, go back to your favorite restaurants, go back to your favorite bars, your favorite businesses, go buy tickets to games, once this is all over, because we got to jumpstart the economy all over again.
Yeah. And I think sport has an amazing ability to, as I mentioned, unite people, but also take people's minds off things. I was watching a program about the First World War, and the French had adopted rugby because they've seen the British guys play it. And by putting a rugby game on between, I think it was two of the French regiments off in one of their stadiums, people would had their minds taken off of the fact that many of them had lost their homes, lost their livelihoods, lost people, and had something to cheer them up, even if it was just for 80 minutes or so.
Yeah. And I find that quite interesting in that you see a lot of, on social media, a lot of athletes posting, them still trying to perform some sort of sport, some form of sports in their homes, because we all just miss it that much. For me personally, I compete in a flag football league. Not being able to go out there and run routes and catch it and be around my teammates, mentally that wears on you. I think that and what I'm really curious is, I want to see how many people during this period, if COVID-19 is it going to be what gets you, and if this lasts like for a while, the cabin fever is going to get people. And I'm interested to see that stage of things, because once that starts happening, I think I don't know. I don't even know what to think when that happens. Like I know I've been feeling it.
Aspects to it, and there's groups of people who anorexics. I got to be careful so I don't go out my area of expertise here, but people with OCD or just general people with depression or anxiety.
Yeah.
People who can't necessarily switch off, can't turn the telly off, or they're constantly thinking it all the time. How's that going to impact their lives? And it'd be interesting to see what happens afterwards, after people came out. And
like, are people going to be awkward?
So,
like when we all come, like when everyone comes out of quarantine, is it going to be awkward to interact with people then? Like, is it going to be weird? Like, are people still are people going to be germaphobes after this?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden just worry, where it's like, constantly washing, constantly
Can I do it right? Oh, let's do it again.
I'm so curious, like, how many people are not going to shake hands with each other anymore? Just little things, just little things in life that we took for granted on a day-to-day basis.
First thing, I'm coming out of quarantine, I'm gonna buy myself some cookies. I've decided.
It sounds like you're breaking out of your diet a little bit there.
Yeah, doing a little bit. It's interesting about diets as well, because I can imagine one of three things happening, because you're going to get people, you're going to end up looking like they came out from 1970s, skinny as anything, because they have been rationing all their food and trying their waiting 3 weeks to get Asda, which is our version of your version of Walmart, to deliver their food. And then you got other people who've probably got lots of food in and just been snacking all the time, gaining weight, or a mixture of the both. I think that would be 3 options.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see all of these now all of a sudden in-home workout experts.
Yeah.
And to see see a couple when they step out, okay, look good. I did hard time in the living room.
Squatting the sofa.
Exactly. Bro, I have seen some outrageous in-home workouts. People making in the kitchen treadmills with soap and holding onto the edge of the cabinet. Just I have seen some things that like that is not proper technique. You know, that's not what you should be doing. I have seen some of the worst in-home push-ups because of Instagram. I've seen some of the worst in-home push-ups. Oh man.
People follow people on Instagram to do fitness, and it's like, okay. And some of the stuff, it's like, yeah, it's a circus act what they're doing.
Yes.
But if you look at Pinterest, woo, okay, it's like Pinterest is like an anarchist state in terms of fitness. It's just like you can log on there and it's like, well, that's bullshit, that's bro science, that's not quite right, you're trying to sell me something that is literally right in your face. And it's like
I love
whereas
it.
Instagram, it's kind of like hidden, like to a little bit of an extent. But
I feel like Instagram everyone just tries to sell like quick fitness and like little like BS fitness. It's like, you know what? Like, you're not really working out like that. Like, that's surgery. Like you can tell who's really in the gym, and you can tell like who's just really not. You know, it's interesting, and I find this time period that we're in highly interesting because it's teaching us about ourselves. Yeah, and we're learning about ourselves. I've been messaging friends, and I've been telling friends, you know, the self-proclaimed introverts. Oh, you don't realize how much you really enjoy human interaction until now.
Yeah, it's like you can't shake anyone's hand, you can't hug anyone. It's like that doesn't seem natural in a certain respect. Like people have gotten on me about the way that I sit, you know, in my streams. So you're not supposed to touch your face. Look, this is the way that I sit, and this is how I'm going to sit. You know what? I nearly touched my face when you talked about Instagram. I was like, no, I'm going to put my hands above my head there.
I'm like, I'm in my house. I haven't gone anywhere. You know, I go walk the dog. I wash my hands before and after every episode. You know, like certain things I just feel like I don't want us to. I don't want this to let this scare us into not being normal. Yeah. You know, humans have to interact with each other. You know, there has to. That's how habitats thrive. You know, have you seen the effects that this has had on animals? Like the amount of deer that I have seen, like we already have like the deer out here in Colorado are already super friendly. Like they'll walk up to your porch, like they pay rent there, you know. But now they are just completely like everywhere, you know. And a fox came up on my porch the other night. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing here, little guy? Like, just came up onto the porch. Like it's the world is reversing.
We get a lot of foxes here, so they're always raiding our bins and stuff. So
see,
they're really opportunistic. But yeah, it's like if you walk at night, you probably just see like 2 or 3 of them walk down because they've banned a few years ago. They banned the hunting of foxes, so obviously they've bred into the city. So to give you understanding, I used to work for a museum, and they had a stuffed fox they put onto show, and they found it. I think it was just outside a supermarket. And this was unusual at the time, so they decided to stuff it and put it on display. But like that, coming back 10 years later, it's like, hey, that's a bit macabre. And second of all, that's normal. Like you see foxes everywhere. So why is that? So why is this on show? Like,
people weird. Museums are weird. They'll put anything on show, man. But no, dude, that's gonna be something I'm gonna go and do. I'm gonna go to a freaking museum, man. When this is all over, I'm gonna go do something educational. I'm interested to see how people's interests change during this time period. Like are we all gonna all of a sudden gonna see like now more book nerds than what there were before? Like, is that gonna come about? You know, Are people going to maybe be a little bit more intellectual because they're doing more reading and they're helping their kids with their homework? Is that going to change?
More homeschooled children, who knows? But
I hate the homeschooling part, man. Let me tell you. So I was helping my son with his homework, and they were asking him, to show his work. Well, I guess they have changed the way that they do math now. I still get the correct answer, but I guess the way that I was taught how to do it and the way that they're taught how to do it now are two totally completely different things.
Yeah,
it's the homeschooling aspect is a headache. Much respect to teachers. Teachers don't get enough credit. They deserve a whole hell of a lot more pay, especially in this country.
Yeah, definitely. Like in the UK, they've been trying to drive the prices down of their wages a lot. So I think it's slightly similar in that respect, because the schools have gone from being, quite a lot of them have gone from being state-run schools, or comprehensive as they're referred to academies, which are basically free schools. And what I mean by free schools is that they're not run by the council as such. They can independently work with their own budgets and own finances. But because they can work with their own budgets and finances, they can help drive the wages down.
Oh, damn.
New teachers coming in, yeah. So
yeah, here teachers.
It's less about, okay, we got this, we better spend it all in order to give the kids the best experience they can, to suddenly, okay, we need to make a profit.
Yeah, here you don't really see that type of system until college. But in terms of just like regular public school, like what you guys call an academy, here what an academy is, that means that's like a private education institute. Those are the teachers that are making decent money. Your kid wears a school uniform and it's really preppy. My kid just goes to regular public school. He still has to wear a uniform, but it's like a private school, I guess. Actually, no, it's a private school.
I remember wearing the school uniforms and stuff. So it's like every kid in the UK has to wear a school uniform. It's just like standard kind of thing.
Oh, see, I just wore regular clothes to school. That was normal. It's completely different. I always found it very interesting how different America was from Europe. Growing up, my dad, he was stationed in Italy. Actually, I was stationed in Italy during my time. We spoke about this last time. My dad, he was stationed in Italy, and I went to an American school, but my brother went to an Italian school, and he would have to wear this god awful school uniform. I mean, this thing was awful. Man, oh Lord. But me, I would just wear regular clothes, and he'd look at me like I was weird, but I'd be looking at him like he's weird. Bro, they got you wearing this little smock thingy. I don't know what that is.
You make it sound like he was wearing a military uniform or something.
No, it was this preschool. I don't know what to call it. I have no idea what to call. I guess I call it like a smock or whatever. I don't know. It was completely weird. It was this Italian Catholic school type of deal. Yeah, it was completely I was yeah, I'm not doing that.
We have a tradition in that it's generally your last day of school. Everyone signs each other's shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone was like, you go over with your pen and you write in their shirt and they write in your shirt, and you look at the back and someone's written cunt on the back of your head, and it's like, seriously.
Yeah, that's bad. That is bad.
That's a tradition we have in. So yeah, it's interesting to see the differences. Talking about the differences in terms of the impact coronavirus has had on sports as such. Obviously, you talked about the Major League Baseball potentially impacting their incredibly long season.
Yeah.
talking about basketball, obviously having to pull out the game itself. How's it impacted the other American sports?
It's actually rather interesting. The NFL, in a way, has kind of operated. Of course, American football has operated, almost normal, like business as usual. We're not going to have our.
February, didn't they? So
what's that?
They finished in February, didn't they? So it's like.
Yeah, so the games themselves haven't been affected. More so day-to-day business operations. A lot of working from home. Free agent moves, like trades and stuff like that. Free agency still happen. That's pretty much the only exciting thing that's happening in sports right now. And then, of course, the NFL draft has been affected. The NFL draft was supposed to be just in a state right over the border here in Las Vegas. I was going to be trying to go to that. Not happening now.
That would mean so close to you, like relatively, like in terms.
Oh yeah. It would be like for you to go over like to Wales, I guess. It's still
the other side of the country.
Well, yeah, I guess. Okay, completely different, but still.
Yeah, but like obviously because the US is so large, so let's imagine like 4 to 5 hours for you is like, that's close.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
whereas
4 or 5 hours.
Like, oh my God, that's the other side of the country.
Yeah, well, no, still, like I used to go to Sylvania all the time when I was in Italy. Let's go, take a train. It's good. But no, I mean, so that's been affected. I'm interested to see how that process is going to be handled, because it went from being this extravagant thing where they're going to be brought up on stage via gondola boat, so on and so forth. Now all of that is scrapped because, of course, the city of Las Vegas is a ghost town now, which is weird to see. Is it going to be kind of something how we're doing now, where the draft picks will be Skyped in, or video chatted in? Like
climax, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be very, 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 very weird and awkward to see and view.
Have like all few hundred of them just literally on Zoom.
Exactly.
Some guy just scrolling them through just to figure out who's on there.
So wait, which box are you? Oh, you all the way down there, bottom left.
Got to be him. He's the only foreign guy here.
So it's going to be highly interesting to see how that plays out. I don't think that the NFL itself could possibly be affected just because of what the timeline that we are being given. It looks like about 90 days is what quarantine period is for us.
Yeah, it's in the UK. It's affected quite a lot the sport, and across Europe, it's affected quite a lot the sport as well, because generally around this time of year, most of the seasons are finishing, and then you got the summer sports starting their seasons. So it being quarantined, the lockdown, the sports, let's say, for instance, soccer, or should I say football, the Premier League mainly in particular, they can't finish their season as such.
Yeah,
and it's the first time they've actually given them a winter break as well, because most of the other leagues have a winter break. So these guys had 2 weeks, and then it's like, by the way, you're having 3 months break potentially. So, but the number of games they play is ridiculous. For instance, Liverpool played nearly 90 games already. 9.
Yeah, Luka Jovic actually from Madrid. He just get caught up trying to sneak out to go see his model girlfriend.
Did he? I didn't hear that. Okay, that's first news to me.
Yeah,
naughty boy.
Yeah, out of he got caught after curfew hours, after quarantine curfew hours.
Did you hear about the Paris Saint-Germain fans?
No, I did not.
So they're one of the reasons why Macron had to lock down the entire city of Paris, because originally what it was in the early phases of their epidemic, they were going to have empty stadiums, so the games will be played inside. They decided to put a protest outside the stadiums, So I know, yeah. So you can imagine.
This is not like that is not the smartest thing. How counterproductive is that? Hey guys, we're going to still play the
Turn up,
games,
yeah.
but you just gotta stay home and watch it on TV. No, we're all gonna get together. You said no groups of no more than 10. Watch this. Hold my beer. Like no, like that's not what you do.
If you see like they call it a protest in Paris. It's more like a riot. Yeah, it's if there's no pyro, no party, so everyone's got flares and launching fireworks off it, which is blimmin' ridiculous. But what was even more funny about it was that the Paris Saint-Germain team then came out of by the stadium with the fans. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so they got Di Maria like cheering like that out with like red flares in the distance. It's like, seriously.
No, that was always one of my fears of traveling Europe. That was actually one of the reasons why I never went to France. I never ever went to France. So I was like, that's the last place I want to get. I want to just be sitting down, having a nice, quiet dinner, and all of a sudden you just have a riot. Just like, nope, nope.
Burning citrons, yeah.
Not with it. Yeah, no. When you guys, when Europe in general, when you guys protest, it's real. It's real. We can't touch that. We can't touch that level of passion. We can't touch that level of passion. Another thing that I actually find interesting during this pandemic period is that you see in Italy and Spain, people coming out on their balconies and sharing music and, still keep people entertained. Yeah, that doesn't happen here in America.
That reminds me, actually, at 8 o'clock, there is clap for carers, apparently. Hashtag going around. So it's like worldwide, people will be clapping for carers and health staff.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know how good we're going to do with that. America's not doing too good with the whole uniting thing right now.
Yeah, I kind of see that. Yeah,
yeah, like we're really not doing too well with it. It bugs me. It bugs me so much. Like you'll be on Twitter.
I think that's a global thing as well, because up until recently, because we've obviously, without trying to get too far into politics, we've had the Brexit thing going along, but you kind of seeing that in other countries as well. So it's not just America as such; it's just how the world is kind of going. It's just obviously you're more in more in the media because it's America and Donald Trump. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough right now. Like it's super tough right now. I still see people that are bold enough to be like they're like, I'm not following the social distancing rules. You go ahead and do that, little Susie Q, but when you come around coughing, don't come around me.
Yeah, there was a 21-year-old in the UK who died with no known underlying conditions. There was some guy, he was 18 years old. I can't remember in the US. I just read it literally on Sky News. Who was a smoker and died because of COVID-19. So this is not a flu. This will literally knock you out and potentially kill you. It's debilitating.
Exactly. Everyone just needs to relax with it. Stop just thinking it's another flu and just roll with it.
That annoyed me when I saw the pictures of people thinking, you know what, I'm going to get a little bit more of the ski season in the Cairngorms or I need to say Bonsai Beach then. No, a whole entire of Bandai Beach in Australia, just like full of like people. It's like,
Not smart. You know what that is though? I'm business marketing and psychology major. You're on the sports science side as well. That is natural selection. That is all that is. That is just Darwinism doing its job. Like we have to realize the world is comprised of 6 billion people. We can try and help everyone, But some people do not just want help. Plain and simple. And those people that are just plain flat out not wanting to follow the steps. I mean, they'll be the ones that'll be spending the summer, the really good part of this warm weather that we're all about to get and enjoy. They'll be spending the summer quarantine and will be outside.
Yeah, but it depends, because if it's loads of people, obviously you got herd immunity as well. But if people aren't listening, then the governments have a right of care. So it's a case that, I don't know about that in the US, but right of care. So they'll just give you more lockdowns and keep the lockdown for longer and more severe. So
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So if a minority don't do it properly, then it's like we all have to suffer.
So yeah, if we just do this right the first time, then we can all just be good.
In theory, yeah. There's key in theory is part of that.
So then, I mean, also in theory, would it be possible that if we all left quarantine at the same time, would the number just spike back up again?
Yeah, so potentially if you just literally close everyone away in the summer months, I'm obviously not a virologist, but I believe the virus needs about 30 degrees Celsius, which is roughly your body temperature, to survive. So if it's in the summer months where it's warmer, and obviously, okay, it may not be infecting people, but it'd be maybe affecting one person, two persons. So the virus is still around. And then when everyone comes out for the winter, it then impacts everyone that way. So you get the second spike in theory, yeah.
Man, this thing sucks.
Yeah.
We can't even, and we're like I said, you're not a virologist. I'm not a virologist. We're not doctors or anything, but just pure speculation that we can theorize that's how that would work. That's scary. That's scary.
That's if you were to literally crack down and have like extreme lockdown, which I don't think any government really wants unless they really have to, unless you're China, of course, in which case you can just order it. But yeah, that is scary.
Oh, trust me. Here in America, it took them a minute. Like they're like, I don't like the sound of that really. Like, so do we really got to tell them that we're locking them in their houses? Like, do we have to use those words? Yes, we're going to use those words. All righty. Well, guys, you're all locked down. And here we are.
Everyone in their home. Stay at home. Hashtag stay at home.
Oh, I'm now at the point where I'm like, man, like do we have to like just see it everywhere? Have you seen the way that movie trailers are done now?
No, why? So have they made them longer? Have they or something?
No, they haven't made them longer. The way that movie trailers end now, at least here on American cable, is now they end it with now watch in home instead of in theaters on this day. They took that whole part out, and it no longer says, coming to a theater near you. It says coming to in home today, order on demand. Like, it's like, oh, I don't like it. It's not cool.
No.
One of the first
you always
things
got
I'm doing
that person
is
with the over dramatic voice as well.
Yeah, and they do it with it.
In a dark, twisted universe, far, far away.
You did that very well, very well. When you have that voice telling you that the movie is coming to you, to a couch near you, it's not as fun anymore. It's not as fun. It's like, I don't want to watch it anymore. Like, do I want to watch The Invisible Man in my house? Like, I don't know. It's just weird now, man.
Yeah. And playing soon, Manchester City versus United in your back garden.
Oh my gosh.
Just like, you should imagine that. Just be like, no, it's just not the same. Like, it's not the same of actually going there and going and see the game in person, have all the crowd and atmosphere and all that goes along with it. Or if you're in France, fireworks going off in the stadium from the fans themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Which, by the way, you guys are awesome for that in soccer. I wish we could adapt that here, but
Yeah, I don't
we're
feel
not.
safe though.
Yeah, I was about to say we're not safe enough here to do that. Like,
Yeah.
ugh,
Have you
it's
have
bad.
you have you heard of Aris?
What is that?
Aris. So they got multiple teams across multiple different sports, but their ultras in football just absolutely utterly crazy. They're northern Greece, and their main rivals Thessaloniki. And I was watching a documentary, and they're the guys. They don't support or watch sport; they watch a team. So they literally spent the whole day. They watched the women's water polo. Then they walked to the other end of the city and watched a basketball game with Aris in it. And then they went and watched the football game. By then, they're absolutely drunk as a skunk.
I'm gonna have to check this.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like in their basketball game, because the team weren't really good at the beginning of the bit where they throw the ball up and they got jumping. So if they lost it, they would let off these massive like silly string things from the inside the actual and ticker tape will come out all over the court. So then they had to restart from the sideline.
What? See, like that's.
And
I love how
there's people with flares in the stadium as well. Absolutely crazy. If you watch the Aris fans in the soccer stadium, you have like 3 stands are just fairly okay, and then over on the far side, it looks like the whole stand is alight. Everyone has flares pretty much, and they're just chucking them out and throw. They have to have like 10 different firefighters there just to pick them up and put them into like water buckets. And
see, that could not happen here. I think that the craziest fan base that we have here in America is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills football team fan base. These guys will jump off of Chevy Silverado trucks and just jump through tables. And that's the craziest thing that happens in terms of fan bases here in America. That's just flat out stupid. It's not safe. It's not good for anyone.
Just leave that to All Elite Wrestling. Just leave it to them.
They practically do wrestling moves. But they enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, here in America, we don't let off flares or stuff like that. I would love it if we did. I think that'd be badass. Like, I would love that. You know, I would go to more games if that happened, just to look up at some drunk guy at the top of the nosebleed setting off a flare. Like, I would be A-okay with it. I might be that drunk guy.
Yeah, you might be that drunk guy. I like how you guys got tailgates as well, like tailgate parties. The idea behind that, just go up to the stadium, and then we don't get that. I think the closest we get to it is Ajax's Entrada, which is best way to describe it. It's a riot, but with lots of singing, lots of flares, and lots of drums, pretty much. That's the closest you would get to it. If you literally go onto YouTube and type it, next time you're there, type in Entrada, and it's like the noise is utterly crazy. It's not a tailgate as such. It's just a load of guys got together before a game and just make a load of noise, kind of thing.
See, if that were to happen here in America, there would be a SWAT team marching down the other side of the street, like with guns loaded and ready. Like that, yeah, that wouldn't work here. That would not work here. A bunch of people walking down the street yelling with like paint on their face and letting off flares in America. Cancel it. It's done. There's gonna be helicopters flying over them.
Well, no pyro, no party. So,
look, that's one of the things that I miss about living overseas is going even to like the smallest little soccer games. Like, it's passionate. You guys are passionate about football. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it before. Like, people painting their stomachs, just yeah. Like, I mean, we do it here for American football, but like you said, I mean, we have the tailgates. It's more confined
Mm.
chaos, you know. Like at the tailgate, there'll be those group of people jumping off their trucks and slamming themselves into tables. Then, you know, over here, there's a nice controlled area of just grilling happening. You know, I wish we had you guys' passion. Like, I just wish.
I think what it is, if you take out the NCAA and all that stuff, I think the key operative word is franchise. In that all most of the teams are franchised. They can literally be made more or less overnight. They're not clubs as such, with the exception of probably Green Bay Packers, but they're not. Oh, here we 8 o'clock. We've got a clap now.
I think. Oh, we're clapping.
Yeah.
Oh, it's happening now.
Yeah, apparently it's 8 o'clock. So.
Oh, that's right. 8 o'clock where you're at. That is
it's 8 o'clock where I am. Yeah, you got like a few hours yet. So.
Oh wait, so is everyone clapping at different times?
I don't know how it's working. I know we're clapping at 8 o'clock. I think everyone's clapping at the same time or different time. It's got to be, because if it's worked globally. It just looks weird. I'm just talking and then suddenly I'm clapping for no apparent reason.
Yeah. Oh, that's not good. I just saw that comment.
Oh God.
Dang, slap. That's one of my guys.
Sorry to hear that, man.
He said clap it up. Wow. Oh my gosh. I can't clap at a time like that. Hi. But oh man, it's a crazy time. I mean, you know, my advice to people: follow the steps. Watch like look for like comedy and look for like stuff that's funny. Stuff that'll keep your mind off of things. I don't know. Read books.
Yeah.
If you have family, spend time with family. But don't let them drive you crazy. Don't do that. Yes, you can still walk your dog. You know, depending on what your status has laid out for you, you know, go get your hour of you know, workout time in really quick. You know, whatever the case is.
Yeah. It's going back to my point. You guys got a lot of franchises and not clubs, so the histories may not be there as such in terms of.
No, we love our. I mean, we have history and stuff. It's just I think that that's a cultural thing, man. I think that is a difference in.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you know, like coming from a lot of Americans, they don't get to experience what I got to experience. You know, being in the military, getting to travel, getting to meet you know, different cultures and interact with you know, different cultures. With that being said, I mean, with that being stated, I noticed that there's a lot more passion and just, you know, the way that things are culturally over in the UK and the European countries, it's different than here. And I think that has to do a lot with, you know, like I said, just culture and governments, and just how lifestyles are. I feel like, you know, you guys are more free spirited over there. You know, we are pretty much here in America. Everyone is, it's either you think this way or you think that way. You know, it's I don't know how to describe it. I really don't. But one thing that I can say is that we are different than everyone else in the world. Like I said, I mean, you know, you look on social media, you know, like you got people gathering together and singing it over their balconies and stuff like that, you know, being together during this time. And then there's us. You know, have you ever seen that the Eddie Murphy movie, Coming to America?
I haven't, no, but enlighten me.
So there's a part in the movie where Eddie first comes to America and he's excited. He's happy. He comes to America from Africa. And he's his prince. It's a comedy, you know. Okay. And of course, you know, it's Eddie Murphy. And he's like, he walks out on his porch and he's like, "Good morning, my beautiful people." And then some dude from his balcony, he yells, "Fuck you!" And he's like, and like Eddie Murphy, he's still sitting there and he's smiling because he's like, in America, you know, land of opportunity. He's like, yes, fuck you too. Like, because he doesn't know what else to say. You know, he thinks that's how like we embrace each other. You know, that was normal. Like, it's just we're so different. Like we could be an angry people, I guess. You know, and I think that's what I find so fascinating with this whole COVID-19 is that we're not able to we're how do I say this? With COVID-19 being the enemy, we're not able to address it from a standpoint of, I'm gonna put a boot in your ass. You know, we're gonna drop warheads on foreheads. You know, we can't come at it from that standpoint. The standpoint that we have to come at it is from a health, you know, mental health standpoint, and trying to tell the most obese country in the freaking world that, hey, you can't go out and eat every single night now. You know, actually, guess what? You can't go out and eat at all, buy food, and actually have to cook, Karen. Okay. You know, and telling Americans that, and telling Americans, hey, you know, we're going to take back and scale back a few of your liberties. It's significantly different. And it's that thought process to us doesn't connect.
Yeah, there's two really main parts, really. Obesity itself, as far as I know, doesn't increase your chances of dying from coronavirus, but the respiratory, the diabetes, and the cardiac problems does. That is associated with obesity. In terms of the liberty aspect of it, is quite an interesting one, because there are certain individuals in the world who will utilize this as an opportunity to take freedom away from the people and give it to themselves. I don't want to get too much into politics,
right?
I try and steer away from that, but
I do as well.
It's one of those weird times where, as a liberal democracies around the world, are having to say, no, we're going to shut your borders, we're going to close, we're going to prevent you exercising or whatever. So it's an interesting time. It's definitely an interesting time, and
because we've never seen this before. We've never seen this before. We've never seen a world without sports. We've never seen a world where our kids, you know, aren't able to go and compete their sports, and aren't able to, you know, be in school and be around like other kids. You know, how is that going to affect the mental? How does this time period impact our children? You know, of not being able to really be around other children
and stuff.
You know, so I mean, it is right now. It's a rather interesting time, a rather interesting dynamics that we're dealing with. You know, as fans, as parents, as just regular day-to-day human beings. You know, like we talked about the psychology aspect of and the mental health aspect of it earlier. You know, people are really going to learn a lot about themselves. You know, I'm very curious at the, like I said, the self-proclaimed introverts, you know, because those people are really going to see how much you do need human interaction, how much human interaction is a part of day-to-day survival.
The governor of New York actually said something very much along the lines. He was amazing at how much information he's willing to give. The slideshow he effectively gave from Albany, New York, and the information was just beyond most governments were giving. It was just crazy, the amount of detail, and the way he said it is, there's, when from his own perspective, so this is not scientific now, but when there's a when there's pressure put upon a crack into a situation, you finally get to see the nature of humanity of that person or their personality come to the forefront. Do they crack under pressure and are they for themselves, or do we get to see a different kind of personality we don't generally get to see? How do they react when pressure is put upon the crack? And I thought that was quite interesting, like an interesting perspective on it.
Yeah, right now is a time for people to be strong, to be mentally strong. I mean, and also with that, if you are a mentally strong person and you are one of those type of people, be a leader during this time, and hop on the phone, talk to your mates, talk to this is a perfect time to call up someone that you haven't spoken to in forever and tell them that you love them. Think how many lives are going to be saved because people can't get to McDouble. They wanted coronavirus to say, "Oh my gosh, you're right from that point."
Yeah.
And
they've actually closed all McDonald's in Ireland and the UK. They've literally closed them all, so you can't go in them. So that's
smart, Ireland.
I think that's more for I don't know why McDonald's did. Okay, so they got a lot of franchises, so it could be that as well had an impact upon it. But before the government crackdown, they literally, because I remember talking to my dad about this, saying, "Oh, you might have to eat like McDonald's, even though you hate it. You might have to eat it because we're rationed and it's cheap and you can get a drive-through." And literally, as soon as he said it on the news, it said, "And in the UK and up, McDonald's are closing all their branches in the UK and Ireland."
That's what I would have turned to dad and be like, "Ah, that's what you get." Oh man. Oh, that's great. No, see, I don't eat that stuff anyways, and luckily I know how to hunt and gather and fish and all that good stuff. So I'm fine there. That's another thing I actually find fascinating is how quickly people during this. I think Slap Yourself said something about people, like the divorce rate's going to spike now after this, and I actually find that fairly interesting. In that the amount of people when all of this started had to figure out how their internal ecosystem of their homes actually worked and functioned. Like, my wife and I, we understood that we had to have the hunter-gatherer roles. We knew what things we were going to ration, what things we were going to eat. I find it fascinating the amount of stuff. Like most grocery stores are wiped out here in America. Oh, see, yeah. So then, globally, grocery stores are wiped out. But what I find interesting is when you walk into a grocery store, the stuff that is still there that people just don't know how to cook. So it's like I mean, I'm sure you saw it on my channel the other day, on my YouTube channel. I did seafood broiler sports talk. The amount of people that do not know how to just cook seafood. Now's the time where, if you see stuff that you eat, but it's available on the shelves, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. It's a weird time. It feels like, especially when governments are calling it at war with it. It's like a wartime government in kind of way, the way they're acting, the powers they've got, which you wouldn't normally have in a peacetime. So it's well and truly crazy. What I found quite weird, like going into, in the UK at least, we produce more food than we will ever eat, and I dare say it will be exactly the same in the US, if not more, because of the production and stuff. And obviously you can do things that we at the moment can't do in terms of like injecting pigs with hormones, so it makes them grow bigger, quicker and stronger.
All things that I'm not proud of, but yes, we do that here.
So in a way, we produce more food than we'll ever eat. So as long as you meet the demands of the people and the way of the production, and we have the drivers there potentially, you will never run out. But because we haven't got the drivers coming in the right slot in terms of the auto reordering, there's nothing there. Like, so it's a weird one. Everyone's panic buying, but you don't need to panic buy because the stuff, we're not running out of it. It's not.
Yeah, no, we're not. Yeah, that's another thing I want to take this time to educate people on. Guys, stop panic buying, okay? It's not gonna run out. You know why it's going to run out? Because you keep panic buying.
Yeah.
So you're taking the current supply, so it looks like, because of, like we mentioned, the deliveries of the trucks and the timing and yada, 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 it looks like, hey, there's no resources.
Yeah.
When in reality, there are. But I get it, people, and what I want to find interesting, what I hope to find interesting, is that hopefully everyone has panic bought. So now the source will start stocking back up. And now that everyone has everything and they're rationing, hopefully people can go out and they can get the essentials and the goods that they need. I saw a dude buy maxi pads for toilet paper the other day.
Right. Okay. So yeah.
Do you know how weird that is? And do you know what that does to your plumbing? Plumbers, when this is all said and done, plumbers, you guys are going to make so much money because there's going to be some clogged toilets out there.
You're pumping the shit out of all that.
Exactly. People
literally pumping shit. Yeah.
There was a Facebook post from one of my friends that works in the HVAC, plumbing industry, and he was telling people, hey, all of you that panic bought, you need to realize you have to flush all of that. You're flushing that toilet paper. Those wipes that you just bought, that's now clogging your stuff, and that's going to back it up. All that food. Now is not the time for. Yeah,
those wipes don't biodegrade. You have to throw them in the bin, in the non-recycling. So it's like, don't flush them down the toilet because they just end up clogging up, and you end up getting. This is an interesting fact. The Museum of London, I got a piece of was it Natural History Museum? I can't remember, but they got a piece of the world's largest fatberg.
Oh my gosh!
I can just imagine the conversation. You go, that really stinky, horrible thing that's stuck to the sewer. Can we have a piece of it?
Yo, that's so nasty. That's so. Can we have a piece of it? Like, no. Oh my gosh. But no, people, like, just so that everyone out there knows, especially Americans, be very careful on your garbage disposal. You guys recycle. You guys are very good at recycling. Here, not so much. We'll just scrape stuff down the garbage disposal. Guess what? That's gonna tear that up. When this is all said and done, guess what? That's now a bill.
Yeah.
So everyone that panic bought, understand what you're doing also, to yourself and to your home. All that stuff you got to eat.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to also, put that out there, for people that aren't thinking. Like, this is the time period for people to be thinking and people to be strategists. The second you start feeling yourself thinking erratic or thinking irrational during this time period, stop. Do something else with your time.
And it takes resources away from those who need it most, like the nurses, the doctors who work the 13 to 15-hour shifts, potentially keeping people alive from this virus. So yeah.
Yep. If you have facial hair, there is no need for you to have one of those surgical masks. It's not going to protect you. It's not. So boom, that we can all those people that are buying up all the masks and stuff like that. Stop. The medical professionals need that. If you should be keeping your ass at home so that we don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even have to buy any of that if you're staying at home.
True story. I was actually on the way to Lee Valley. It was like literally before the epidemic came out, and there was one guy. He came on. I didn't know if he was ill or not, but he had like the proper like facial mask on. You know, like the really expensive one, hood up, black gloves on, trousers that looked like work trousers, but never been worn. And he was on his phone. He heard someone's cough and was like, "Where did that come from?" It's like,
like it's like
I don't want to be like you might be ill, so but still at the same time it's like
we gotta like the people that always joke, you know, oh, like I would be so down for a zombie apocalypse, right? And the people that panic buy and hoard all the toilet paper, and the people that aren't taking, you know, the steps given by the CDC properly, those are the same people that would hide the fact they got bit by a zombie in a zombie apocalypse. And you're just sitting there right next to them the whole time, like, yeah, like, no. Like I said, I find this, you know, especially from you know, a psychology standpoint, I mean, you know, very fascinating to learn so much about my peers during this time. Because for people that enjoy people watching, there's no better time right now than to people watch.
At a safe distance, 6 feet away, and potentially on your laptop. Yeah,
exactly. Do it from a laptop. You know, do it via social media. But no, getting people's reactions to this, it's quite fascinating. It is quite fascinating.
Yeah, I've read that one. Yeah,
I haven't changed my life one bit. Yeah, but all you do is go shoot a couple of hoops. Like, you know, you're not really going out and doing anything. Jordan Love. Shout out to the whole Rumboyz crew coming through here to the Immersive Sports Science Show. Make sure you guys subscribe to Adam's channel.
Thank you guys for having a watch. I hope you're enjoying.
But like I find this very, very fascinating. You learn a lot about your fellow man during this time. You know, here you and I are. We're like doing what we got to do. I was forced to have to as of yesterday, I mean, there is no option. You know, luckily I started self-quarantining. But I found it interesting that when that text came out last night and it was an official lockdown, that's when it really clicked for a lot of people living here in Colorado. And I think that's when people were like, oh, I now have to stay at home. Like,
yeah. I think there's a similar situation happen with us as well, because it's like when you see the numbers going up and when you hear people like the Prime Minister saying, no, you have to stay at home, otherwise your actions could kill someone. Oh, okay. When you hear stories of that 21-year-old dying, and it's like you see pictures from Lombardy, from both the private and the public hospitals, people literally lying on the floor where they can't physically get their own bodies up, but there's not enough beds, so they're having to wait for a bed. It's when you see those pictures, like, oh shit, yeah, this is real. This is actually quite deadly, quite dangerous.
Yeah, once I started doing,
they wake up and go around a bit. Okay, some people may, but they're like the minority of the lot, the asymptomatic people.
Yeah, for me, I started doing a lot of research and really just trying to learn and discover. And actually, there's an old friend of mine. I'm not going to mention her name on air, but when I saw a Facebook post of her posting her doctor's note from the doctor that like she had tested positive for COVID-19, it was like how like especially for that person, because it's like, you don't do anything. You go to work, come home, that's it. You know, like you're not, you know. So I mean, it hitting home, and then also it affected the world of sports. Um, maybe take it a little bit more seriously, and just, you know, understand that it's not a game and it's nothing to joke about.
Yeah.
I think for me, being stationed over in Italy and living in Italy and seeing the impact that it had on, you know, friends and stuff over there. For me, you know, I think a lot of my fellow Americans, for me, it was different because I immediately reacted. You know, I immediately, because like I had information from in country. You know, so it was different. And I knew that, like, okay, like, what if this is affecting the whole world? It's gonna affect everyone. In America, we try to act like, you know, oh well, like it's not going to, and you know, we're gonna try and prevent it, and we end up being late. And now here we are. Everyone's stuck
What's
like
the
Chuck.
what's your interesting take on people panic buying guns? Because that just seems alien to me. Like, what? I don't get it. Like, are they hunting? Or are they?
So there's a couple of reasons for that. And this, you know, coming from my military experience and expertise. The hardest part about being locked in, not being able to have a beer with the homies. Honestly, I miss barbecues, cookouts, bars. That's the hardest part. I'm an extrovert. I love being around people, so that's the hardest part. But with the ammo thing, I like that you brought that up. With people being low on, there's going to become a point during this, especially if this does go for as long as what many are projecting it to go. There's, and with you know, the talk of stimulus money and stuff like that coming out, anytime that goods are low and practically quote unquote free money, nothing is free, is being thrown out there, crime increases. You know, if you're sheltered in home, how else are you going to protect yourself? You know, right. So that's the logic behind it. It's just people trying to protect themselves. Now, stockpiling on ammo, that's just people being crazy. Like, oh, here comes the government. Like, you know, just people panicking, ready to revolt in case like they take like extenuous rights from us. But that's how America is. We're weird.
I'd say slap to your answer. What's the hardest part of being about being locked in? It's trying. I found myself being more productive, but in terms of, I miss just going to the gym and actually working. I miss actually working and actually having a purpose. At the moment, you just sit down and you reflect, and you have to find your ways to be productive. Whereas I think work kind of makes you. I'm sounding very boring right now, aren't I? It's work. No. It's always work, dear boy. But no, I missed actually. If I want to go to the shop, not having to think, oh, do I need to go to the shop? Should I ration? Will I affect it? Is it dangerous to go to the shop? That miss just having a free mindset kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I miss whenever I'm taking a shit, I can just use a whole wad of toilet paper and not just 2 sheets, because
like
it's the little things in life. Like now, all the little things that you took for granted are probably the things that you're missing right now.
Yeah, it's like going on to, if I want an Amazon, okay, I'll go and buy an Amazon. But now it's a case of, do I need it? If it's not food or whatever, is it safe to bring it over? Store it. It's just all those things you just don't think about, kind of thing.
Yeah,
all the little
weird.
Things.
Like I said, and that's what I'm so afraid that this is going to do, is that it's going to forever change and reshape the mindset of how people act and react to things. Are people gonna be germaphobes and excuse me, is everyone gonna come out at once, in troves once this is over?
Yeah.
How is the economy going to deal with that if everyone suddenly comes out, for 2, 3, 4 months and then business dips back down? It's all very interesting dynamics that we're dealing with here with this one. The bounce back from this is going to be more interesting, I think, than actually dealing with it at the current moment.
Because the world needs to invest, and it's invest in what they're going to invest in. It's an interesting thing, and they're not necessarily going to invest in their athletes. So you see government programs probably cutting down, sort of spending millions on their Olympic cycling team, probably only spend 1 million, and then the rest of it, or even that, or
I don't know. I feel like, to be honest, I think that sports are going to be the first industry that, when this is all said and done, to see the biggest boom out of anyone and everyone. I think that we're going to be the reciprocators of the boom, because there's going to be that need, that want, that desire. I can guarantee you right now that there is some sports fans sitting back hoarding all money, monetary currency during this time, because the first thing he's thinking about is, I'm buying tickets to a game, I'm buying tickets to a game, I'm buying tickets to a game. I know
Sorry, go carry on.
Well, I was going to say, I know for a fact that the first thing I'm doing this is said and done is I'm buying tickets to a baseball game.
I think personally, whatever the first sport to come out, and if it's the only sport relatively in the era with relatively big fan base, people are going to watch it anyway, even if they don't necessarily like or watch that sport. I think that would happen. So to give you understanding what happened in the UK rugby league, I think it was Toronto Wolfpack versus, or was it? No, it was Wigan versus St Helens. Because it was the only game on it, the stadium was rammed because it was literally the only sport being played by anyone, and especially at a professional level. Yeah. So literally the stadium was rammed with people, and it got all the coverage and stuff because it was the only sport around. So I get the feeling if the first sport comes out, whoever the first sport is, whether that's where they carry on with the XFL or whatever in America, that I think the stadium we ran, and it would have all the publicity because people are watching it now, even if they don't necessarily like it. Or
what I think that's going to happen is, and what I'm fascinated to see, especially the numbers around it, is when the boom happens, when the big sports boom happens, how the leagues are gonna handle that, because it's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be chaos. Because what do people do whenever they miss something that they once took for granted? When they're able to have it back, they cling on to it, and it's it's you know what I'm trying to say. It's
you appreciate it more.
So that's going to cause that chaos to where every gymnasium, every stadium, it's going to be packed. It's going to be packed. Going back earlier, I find it interesting that UFC 249 may still happen. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
Yep, Khabib Ferguson may still happen, and they may actually do that fight in Russia. And I don't know what Russia is doing about this whole COVID-19 thing, but that's some sketchy-ish right there.
Yeah, I mean they almost more or less border Hubei province in China. So okay, yeah, they got big area, I suppose, but is there's something that just doesn't fit. It just doesn't work out. It's like
So
the numbers just don't add up, in my opinion. But we don't know what the numbers are, or have an idea, because Russia's a weird one. Russian athletics is a weird one. Like track and field out there is weird. It's then one of their like national sports, and it's probably the only place in the world where it's the closest thing track and field will have to being professional at this present moment in time, because even though it's all national run, more or less, you get the oligarchs and they bring in money, and then they have like their group of teams. So it's you can have one end of Russia versus another end, but 5 or 6 of the athletes are being paid to be there and having all their doping being paid for and whatever. So it's an interesting one. It's like the most interesting dynamic ever, and you have to, it's just so different to the rest of the world and how they do it, and how the talent identification probably is the best talent identification ever. It's not ethical, but it's
not ethical.
Really
No, it's not. No, it's not. I find it interesting. I don't think that it should still happen, but people.
One thing we forget to mention, really, it's when it comes to sports, it's not just the sports teams are impacted, it's the little businesses that surround themselves. I don't know what it's like because I haven't been to the US. I don't know. I haven't been to any games out there. But when I've been to the new camp in Barcelona, when I've been to, for instance, any stadium pretty much in Europe, you always get the pubs, the bars, the fish and chip shops, the little businesses. That guy trying to flog fake shirts to you.
You need that guy. Hey, that guy needs his money too.
You need that guy. Yeah. The guy selling tickets aren't actually tickets, but it's all that level. Yeah, what's this ticket? I can eat it. What? This is only a ticket. But it's although they're the ones also impacted because they're not earning necessarily if the club isn't there or the franchise isn't there. The sport isn't there. These companies just wouldn't be there. I just read that comment there.
Yeah. So I said hi.
Yeah, so they're being impacted. Some of these companies are only earning money when it's game day.
Right.
And we forget it's hospitality as well. So there's a lot of people working hospitality in the UK. They're on 0-hour contracts, which means they don't earn anything unless they're working. So suddenly these guys are laid off, and it's
once again, I mean, so everyone is affected down to the guy that sells fake tickets all the way, just in the scope of small business, all the way to, the podcasters such as myself. Like I said, your business is going to be affected, especially if you can't have game day. Me not being able to call a game that is about a 3-hour event, 3-hour stream worth of, plus, you counted all the commercial breaks of me losing ad revenue of, that's a whole demographic right now of what I do, that they're not getting their analysis, their day-to-day fix. It takes away from the color commentary side of things. I know out here there were bars that were set to open up that St. Patrick's Day weekend, and we didn't have a St. Patrick's Day weekend, and that is devastating. St. Patrick's Day weekend here in my city where I live, that is kind of like the kickoff, if you will, to like spring and summer. That is that is big business for local bars. That is the kickoff, the catalyst to Selection Sunday in the NCAA tournament for March Madness basketball. So it affects all of us in the sports business, and that our businesses are centered around sports, because we see profit margins that are now scaled back.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I mean, the loss of the ad revenue that I'm not going to get back during this time period. You know, and having those long streams. I mean, yeah, I could go back, I could call a throwback game, but how many people are really going to tune in for me to call something that they already know the outcome?
Yeah. They're probably not going to do it. And you could do esports, I suppose, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. That's a different genre.
I mean,
I don't know why they call it sports.
Yeah, it has an E at the beginning for a reason. It's not really sports, just esports for a reason. I have been given offers to talk about or to kind of commentate that. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, it's just it's a rough time. Like I said, it's a different timing, and that could very well become the future of sports. You know, and what people are doing. I always like to try and be at the forefront. I'm always willing to try something new, but it's different.
It's not a lot. I find with esports, there's not a consistency in the rules as such because they're all different games. Yep. Heading back to the impact upon yourself, how much of an impact has the coronavirus impacted your business?
I mean, so we're still running daily. We're still producing content daily. And a big portion of that is to make sure that the people know that we're still here and we're still with them. And that's always gonna be the mission. The Rumboyz Space Network is always gonna be here for people. So that's first. Yeah. Two, we want to make sure that we're still utilizing, we're still having our voice, and we're being leaders during this time frame to you know, help push and help keep as many businesses and podcasts sustainable. Whether that's, you know, me featuring on other shows, you know, to help, you know, bring and attract new people and new listeners and new guests to them, or whether that is, you know, me bringing them onto my show, you know, so they can promote and talk about their shows and try and get more people, you know, listen and talk about them. I don't want to. When the pandemic first began, I witnessed so many podcasters immediately lay down their mics. Like their first reaction was, "Oh, sports is canceled. I don't know what to do." No, we're also artists as well. Like I mentioned before on your show in our last interview, you know, there's an art side to this as well. So you got to be creative. So I've just been you know, trying to be creative. If you notice, we switched a lot more over to a podcast style of a show.
Yeah, there's more shows, more different types of shows. I noticed that, especially with the seafood one. Yeah,
you know, just to keep it entertained, keep people engaged, and to let them know that during this time frame, you know, they're not alone. Like I said, I miss human interaction the most, so I've been utilizing this for the human interaction. I mean, but we are to sit back and say that we're not affected, and for me as a CEO of the business to act like we're not feeling the effects would be completely asinine of me. You know, we are affected. I took all my writers and I pretty much made it. I was like, NFL rookies and start scouting athletes and like doing stuff like that. Started getting them focused on things in sports that were still going on. There's still stuff in sports going on. You just got to find the stories. The stories are a lot different. You know, for a writer, the easiest thing that you can ever do, the easiest piece that you could ever write is a recap of a game. You know, as sports analysts, the easiest thing that you could do is recap a game. Well, we are not able to recap no games right now because games aren't being played. You know, today would have been MLB opening day. It sounds like we're not going to have opening day until middle of May. You know, just everyone do your part, and try and flatten the curve.
Yeah, it's for my part, obviously not a business as such, but I content scheduling, and I've scheduled quite a lot of my content around Super Bucks rugby. For some reason, they're still advertising the semi-final and the final, even though I can guarantee they're not going to be on.
Yeah.
You can still buy tickets. That's the crazy thing about it. You can still buy tickets, but it's not on because it's just no information on the website at all. And for them, because the university sport isn't as big as it is in the US. So the Bucks Super Rugby is now getting more notice. Players are becoming international. The numbers in the games are slowly rising, even though they're all over the place. So to give you an understanding, the last Derby had 19,000, which was like the highest attendance. The next game, Hartpury versus Exeter, another local derby. One man and his dog was in the literal attendance.
What was that last part?
So the attendance of the game was literally like one man and his dog. Is literally
Holy
like there's
shit.
no one there. Yeah, literally no one there. There's like a field and no one there, and yet like the game beforehand, you got like students just packing out the whole stadium. There's just no consistency in the actual attendance figures.
So I guess now with there being no sports, I guess what is there now somewhat consistency?
I don't know. It's the problem is with UK university sport. There is potential there in certain sports like athletics and that who have been on television. But then in team sports, you're trying to compete with more established, the Premier League, more established sports. Yeah, like football, so soccer, normal rugby league. These sports that have already been established and already have a good number of fans. Now you're suddenly trying to compete to them. And you're also trying to encourage people to go and watch the university side, which in their minds I think is maybe not as good.
Not as good, yeah.
In certain sports like soccer, yeah, the university soccer is crap. Like the quality is shocking. But in something like, for instance, the athletics, the rugby, rowing, it's a lot better. But can you get people to watch it and attend the game? It's a completely different matter.
Probably not. I mean, one, you're dealing with the fact that everyone is already paranoid right now. Then two, I mean, if it's not going to be quality, then people aren't going to tune in.
Yeah. The interesting thing is actually ESPN have actually got the streaming rights with the rights to buy out Bucks University, the UK university sports. So that's quite interesting.
Really?
Yeah. So
I want to see if they're going to start playing that here then for us.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of things they have to do first of all, and that's likewise actually get people to physically think, you know what, I'm going to go and watch a university rugby game, rather than just they've actually got to get that into people's minds first. But the problem is with that, everyone has streaming rights. So UK English rugby, all of them got streaming rights, and their streaming rights only takes into. I think they got it for all, but if they wanted to, then they would have to test it out, and they only want to test it out on a certain part of the country to see if there's actually is an audience for it. So it's an interesting one. It could go either way in terms of, yes, it skyrockets and you get more people watching the game, or it's a failed experiment, but they haven't lost anything.
Yeah, that would be fascinating. That'd be fascinating to see how they could do it. I mean, if any network could pull it off, it would be ESPN. I know that there is one sport that is still happening right now. I mean, of course, they're playing in front of no fans, and that is the Australian rules football.
Aussie rules, yeah. And they got their NRL as well, the National Rugby League. They're going to play that in one stadium in an entire country. And yeah, literally, they're going to play each game there pretty much day after day after day. But it's an interesting how they're going to get to work, because one of the teams is from Japan, so it's like, or in one of the rugby leagues, one of the teams like Japan, another team's from Australia. It's like, How are you gonna?
How are you gonna? I mean, I guess the league can put them all up in a hotel. I mean, but then what? That's violating, CDC rules. You probably end up
Yeah,
with multiple teams in one building, in one establishment, one hotel. That's a quick way to. That's asking to get corona real quick.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's just best that all these leagues just stop. Just stop. But I mean, some of them are still going. I mean, I know the Aussie rules is starting to get real popular.
Because you got quite a few Australian kickers, so
yeah,
and punters inside the
NFL.
Their effect on American football is crazy. How they're redefining how to kick a ball. Something seemingly, I say seemingly easy, it's not, but it's just one dimensional. Here's the ball. Here's the way you kick it, and they've and changed the way you kick a ball. It's just crazy and do different things. And guys are learning from and then adapting it and doing things like Johnny.
You said they're gonna be playing with bio suits on. Oh my! Wow! Fucking love it. Nah, man. It's going to be interesting to see the logistics for a lot of these leagues. International sports are still choosing to try and run. And I know why that they're choosing to try and run. They're trying to be the only thing on the block operating right now. Because if you're the only sport operating, you can get fans to watch. I know there's people legitimately staying up to like 3 a.m. here in America just to catch some Aussie rules football, just to be like, yes, some type of sports. Like, guys, relax. Sports will be back. And when it is, we'll deal with all the new rule changes and scheduling stuff then. But yeah, it'll be back. Just relax. The betting demographic is very interesting. There are people that, because they cannot bet on sports anymore, they are betting on the weather. The weather.
Oh, Christ. That's worse than in horse riding. There's one competition where they all try and bet on what the Queen's dress is going to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're literally betting on the colour of it. And I think, flipping heck, I'd rather just watch the horses jump over fences.
Exactly. Let's get to the actual action here. Like, people are the gambling addicts right now. They are feeling it the most. They are hilarious to watch on Twitter. Literally seeing a guy lose plus 500 on rain. He's actually bro, like it was the funniest clip. Like I guess like his mom comes out, or like his grandma or whatever, and like she's like, "What are you doing? What's wrong?" Like he's like, "I put plus 500 on rain." You're betting on the weather? You're betting on the weather? Mom, shut up! Turn the phone off! Stop recording me! And then like the weatherman comes up and he's like, "And it's gonna be sunny all day." And like the dude's like, "No!
At least you kind of got an idea what it's going to be like in like next week. So you, it's like trying to bet on snow. Like, let's bet on snow.
Bro, people are betting on marble racing. Bro, oh my gosh, it's weird. It's weird. This is the society that we live in. This is what we live in now.
It's like betting into I don't know, bet something random like the color of Donald Trump's tie in the next meeting or something, next press conference.
Like, dude, that's actually there have been bets and stuff like that. Like, it's at the point where people are watching some freaking kid in Nebraska play Fortnite, and they're like, "I'll take the over on 5 kills." It's like, bro, relax. Like, come on. Like DraftKings and FanDuel, they have both switched over and they put esports into their apps. It's like if you go on DraftKings or FanDuel right now, you can bet on esports. So I mean, like, I guess not all hope is lost, but I mean, all hope is kind of lost, right? But yeah, it's pretty bad. Joe Buck is commentating day-to-day life.
Oh, that'd be quite funny.
It is kind of funny, actually. But
was that a noise? Did we hear it? We're gonna go to the snickometer. No, there was no noise made. Go to the second. Let's go to the second referee. What does he think?
It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. Check it out. I recommend checking it out. It's pretty funny. But I mean, the sports.
Talking about in cricket, and quite interesting. There's a tournament in India. Will literally last 3 weeks, and the players get auctioned out pretty much. Called the IPL, the Indian Premier League. And there's one thing they put to the crowd, and they asked literally everyone in the crowd for one of the commentators on what he should coach, whether he should be a fielding coach, a batting coach, a bowling coach, a cheerleading coach, or none of or coach nothing at all. And everyone on their smartphones, everyone in the crowd vote for this commentator to coach nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Cricket's interesting. Doesn't can't one match last a couple of days?
Yeah, so there's 3 types of cricket. Well, there's going to be 4 types now, but there's 3 main types of cricket. So 3 different versions of the game. So the really long one is called Test cricket, and that can last up to 5 days.
Oh hell no! I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. If we can't figure out who wins right here, right now, I'm good.
You've got to bowl them all out as well, otherwise it classes as a draw.
See, I don't even know what that means, man. Like, I guess a bowl is a pitch, right?
Yeah. So there's so a ball. Yeah. So there's 6 balls in an over, and then you got to change effectively the bowler, who's the pitcher.
Yeah, you lost me already, man.
in Test cricket, there's no limited overs, so there's unlimited overs, so you can just literally go on and on and on. Yeah, literally, there's no limit to the number of overs they can have.
So they play until someone gives up?
Not quite. They play up until you got 2 innings, and basically you got to post a score and then get the other team out.
Dude, cricket's weird. I couldn't do it.
2020, you might like that because that's literally a very gimmicky version. And that's just literally hit it out the park.
Okay.
More or less hit it out the park or try and find runs any way as possible because you've only got 20 overs. So you're not going to post a big score. It's not like trying to get centuries or anything. You're literally just trying to get runs. And then these guys get out and then the next guy comes in and tries to thump it out the park.
We play baseball, so I guess it's like baseball, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, it's similar. What they try and do to encourage them to hit it out the park, they bring the boundary ropes in. So, in for instance, your case, you got the whole field in play.
Yeah.
The boundary rope instead, and you can bring that in. So if it hits the ground on the other side, it's effectively out the park still. So it just encourages them to hit. Also, what they try and do as well, they want the bowlers to bowl more defensively. So what they've done is they brought the marks in which you can bowl in closer in. So they bowl it more in front of the batsman. So it encourages them to hit it.
Okay.
Whereas in Test match cricket, the bowling's more aggressive, so they try and get you out. Whereas in the shorter forms of the game, they try to prevent you getting runs, prevent you from scoring.
I don't know. I can't even break it down. I'm so lost.
It's the best way to describe it. It's like playing American football, but trying not to lose.
Okay,
that's basically what the bowling team does. Yeah. So imagine if the defense of your defensive trying not to lose rather than defensively trying to get the sack, trying to get the ball.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Whereas
Wow.
if it's test match cricket, the bowling team are trying to be aggressive because they need to get you out. Whereas the batting team, they can take time because they don't need to hit the ball, so they can. I can let this one go. Next one, I'm just going to hit it. I'm not going to smash it at the park or anything.
Okay, so
Just try and build an innings rather than try and create one.
Okay, so I see how it's different. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to do it, man. That sounds difficult to watch.
Mm.
Baseball in America is already difficult to watch.
Yeah. Well, ironically, the first test match was actually between Canada and the US. Little known fact.
Wow.
Yeah. But then what happens is with cricket is really elitist. So like there's only a certain number of nations. I think it's 12 nations that are allowed to play test cricket because it's considered the elite form of cricket, even though no one watches it.
Yeah, I say I've never seen anyone watch cricket. Like they were on ESPN, they were showing like the cricket players having to go and get the ball themselves.
Literally no one in the UK watches cricket.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. I was like, man, the way that he's talking about cricket, it's like, yo, it sounds like people are really fucking into cricket. Like, okay, cool. Literally,
I think the problem is that the only cricket you get really is the IPL. So that occasionally comes on, and that's on terrestrial TV, so everyone can see it. But beyond that, you can't really see cricket unless you pay for it. There's a paywall gap. And the only cricket anyone's really interested in is a match called the Ashes, which is an Australia versus England, and that started in close to the 1700s, close to the Victorian period. So there's literally there's like 100 years of like rivalry between the two, and they play for an urn about that size.
No, you're not getting me out there to do it. No.
They play for an urn that size, and on the side of the urn it says, "Here lies the ashes of English cricket," because England reckon they couldn't get beaten by Australia. They did, so a pub landlord burnt the wickets, which are the things you're meant to hit with the ball as a way of getting people out. He burnt them and put them into a little tiny urn that big.
Oh, and hell no!
They play for the two teams, yeah.
I'd be pissed. I'm playing for some ashes. No, no. You better give me a big trophy. I need a trophy. I need a ring. Something.
Literally about that big.
I was not.
All that history, all that over 100 years of history. It's the oldest rivalry in sport. The Ashes. It's the oldest rivalry in sport.
That is crazy. I did not expect to get a cricket lesson today.
Nor did I, actually.
Neither did I. Oh,
I thought we were supposed to be talking about coronavirus and sport, and somehow we managed to jump off and go into something completely different. I don't know how we managed to do that.
Dude, I have no idea, but that was crazy. But yeah, no, I mean, well, what else do we have for today? I mean, other questions.
We could talk about the potential recession after it, because there's going to be a recession.
Oh yeah, no, there is definitely gonna be a recession afterwards. I'm interested to see. Like I said, I mean, we have to invest. We have to invest back into our leagues, our economy, our goods, our products, our services.
Yeah,
that's really the only way. In terms of defeating it. I mean, we're pretty much in a recession already. Like, there's nothing on the shelves. People are losing their jobs. Like, it's happening all over again.
Yeah, I think some businesses, some leagues, some teams will go out of business. I get that feeling in certain areas. For instance, in soccer in the UK, some of the markets are oversaturated. So some of the teams, so we saw with the price of players suddenly going up. So for instance, Neymar was bought for like around about 250 million US dollars, roughly, 250 million euros. and people suddenly cost a player is a lot more expensive to obtain, and some of these smaller clubs just can't compete. And if you haven't got a fan base as such, or not necessarily got the TV rights, so say for instance with Bury, who was based near Manchester, you're going to go bust quite simply because no one cares about the business, no one cares about the franchise. And I think this will maybe might accelerate that as well in certain sports where there is an oversaturation in terms of teams. We have far too many teams in the UK anyway. For instance, the FA Cup for the 2019-2020 season had over 900 teams trying to compete for it.
Damn.
Some of the teams had to compete, had to qualify the season beforehand. So they were playing there like for the 2019-2020 FA Cup. They were in the knockout for it in 2018.
Damn, that's insane.
I think there's just too many teams to be able to make it successful. You can't have a team with wanting 40,000 if they can't fill a 20,000 stadium.
I mean, it also depends on how long this all lasts as well.
Yeah.
You know, if this is only gonna last, we have to remember that a lot of these teams are multi-million-dollar entities, if not billion-dollar entities. You know, so I mean, with that being said, you know, and it takes money to run a team. A lot of these organizations are going to have, or should already have, money in reserve right now currently, to where to at least hopefully hold them over, take care of their staff, take care of their people, take care of their athletes. The athletes themselves should have enough stocked up and saved up. And, you know, hopefully if this is only a 3-month period that we're all dealing with this, we're already, about 2 weeks through it. If this is only about like a 3-month or so period that we're dealing with this, then I think that things should start up with a fair amount of ease.
It'd be interesting. The XFL is being quite an interesting one. Obviously, they're running off the Alliance of American Football League, right, in their wake of that, and expecting them to be a competition, which is surprising it wasn't surprising when you reflect on it. But
I mean, the XFL was fairly successful. In their first inaugural season. It stinks that they would have played their full season, playoffs and all, had this not have taken place. They were really starting to cook with gas, in terms of especially a startup league. They were already built they were already built to lose about $5.9 million already. So I think that they're going to be okay throughout this process. I think they'll be fine.
To answer Slap's question about the 800 odd so teams, the question is, you don't actually follow the whole bracket, the whole tournament. You just literally follow from the official first round, more or less, because the teams come in to different points.
God, I can't wait for coronavirus to end. Just the weirdest, funniest thing happened back here. I can't talk about it, but oh my God. Fuck. Don't have kids, people. God. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Anyone want a 5-year-old? Oh gosh. But no, let's go ahead and continue, man. My fault.
Can you remind me where we're getting off for? Because I've forgotten what we were talking about now.
We were talking about the recession. If there's going to be a recession after this.
Yeah, I think there definitely will be a recession. It's interesting what I've seen from your guys from the American, in terms of startup American football leagues, and how often they don't survive. Like the USFL, and how they disappear for a season and then go. Quite interesting about the USFL. I believe that's actually owned now by Vince McMahon. So
No, well, Vince McMahon. I mean, he has the XFL that he's
XFL,
invested
I believe
in.
he owns the rights, and the team literally owns lock, stock, and barrel the old USFL as well. So
Wow, I did not know that. I would not be shocked or surprised.
you just see the Omaha Nighthawks randomly appear in or something. It's like, whoa, okay, that's where he got that from.
Yeah, no, that would be sick. That would be sick.
Because there was an auction for the AAF, but they didn't necessarily agree on everything, did they?
No, yeah, the AAF folded right away. The AAF, they tried to start that up way too fast, way too soon, and they did not have plans in place. I was hoping that thing would have lasted, but that went under. Yeah,
it's so easy to watch. That's what got to me. It's so easy to watch. They live streamed it, and someone in the UK, I could literally go on YouTube and watch a game, and it's like, oh wow, I get to watch football. Like, oh wow, I'm liking this.
Yeah,
it's easier to watch than the NFL, and I think the problem is they tried to start it up as a tech startup company. Now, any tech startup loses money within the first 2 years, and I don't think they kind of planned for that. That you're going to lose money if you're a tech company.
There's that aspect as well. They didn't have things straight with the networks, with the TV networks that they were working with. They didn't have things straight with
the money.
Yeah, with the players. The players were not getting taken care of. Sometimes not getting paid at all. It was just it was too rushed. It was just way too rushed of a product. Which is why we saw that when the XFL came out this year, at first there was a little bit of hesitation, but then we saw that the fans really start to embrace it, especially, like the DC Defenders fans. Like, I've never seen where I'm from the city of DC. I've never seen the fans unite like that. And like, with the whole beer stack and cup thing, like that was crazy,
Shields.
Yeah, like I think that it's going to work.
Running out with shields on their arms and stuff.
Yeah, the shields. Yeah, so I really think that it's gonna work out well. So I'm excited. I think that when it's all said and done, one of the things that I think that will save us from there being a recession is what we spoke about earlier: the ability, or the fact that once you miss something and you realize it was taken for granted, you want it back, and it's going to come back. So when sports comes back, I think that the people's desire, and also people will have been sitting back on like so much money at that point, like so much in terms of savings, because no one's running around spending money right now. So it's people are gonna hit the markets in droves, and they're gonna be spending. And I think that we're going to see people, with spending habits that we probably haven't seen before.
It also depends. Like at the moment, there's no work going around unless you want to work in delivery services or sort of supermarkets, that kind of thing. So if people lose their jobs en masse because of this, and then suddenly the markets open up again, there's suddenly a wealth of jobs available.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna help as well. Companies are gonna be able to they're gonna retain their good employees from before, and then they're gonna probably find a new breed of employees as well. So I mean, I think that this will all kind of in a way like clear up. And us as humanity will have the ability to be able to clear it up, because of our desire to miss the things that we've missed. The bars, the movies, the restaurants, the stadiums, all of the above.
It depends how much governments are willing to invest in their workforce, their employees, to keep those companies happy and think, I don't mind holding all these hospitality staff on the books I don't need to make rash decisions as such, because I know that they're going to get paid 80% and I'm going to get covered for them being on the books.
Mm.
So when the seasons do start, we can start going again.
Slap yourself. I miss getting chocolate wasted too. But no, I mean, I definitely think, you know, when everything starts back up, I'm personally not. I think that it'll when everything starts back up, it'll sustain itself for long enough to where the economy will just start moving. You know, it's like a machine, a perfect machine that just starts churning. You know.
Well, I can't wait to get some proper sports on telly.
Hell yes.
Repeats.
I know. Yeah, watching repeats has gotten to me. Like I said, it's kind of difficult when everyone already knows the outcome. You know.
I think certain moments you could happily watch them again, like some of the tackles from the Alliance, seeing quarterbacks flatten their ass, and it's like,
yeah,
that's actually good. Let's actually watch a game where they don't throw a flag just because for touching the quarterback.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there are certain moments, but I mean, to call a whole game just to get to that moment, it's like,
yeah.
Or either like after that moment, it's like, yep, now we already know what happens, and the Patriots win another Super Bowl. Like, you know,
yeah. And that Tom Brady this time, that'd be interesting. That surprised me when that came out. I was like, whoa, okay, I didn't expect him to go to the Bucs.
Yeah, Tom to the Bucs is going to be very, very interesting.
He's going to throw a lot more interceptions, I think, because of their how complicated their call patterns are and how the quarterback's literally got to organize everything in that.
No, he's experienced. He's been doing it for a long time. He's going to be perfectly fine. He's going to be perfectly fine. He's got 2 top 10 receivers on that offense. He'll be fine. I think that it's going to be easy for him, actually. I think that it's easy. And it's in the South, like in the NFC South, it'll be fine.
They showed I watched a stat, and I can't remember the full stat completely, but it was on the NFL's site. And they had the head coach, every quarterback or a team he's been in, and every quarterback he's managed so far, from like, obviously he's had minor roles and stuff like that, but they've utilized a similar system. And the quarterback's QB rating dropped slightly, and the number of interceptions they threw had a percentage increase.
Yeah, because Bruce Arians, in his offense, he passes more than anyone in the league. Last year, the Tampa Bay Bucks passed more than anyone in the league. That's why Jameis Winston had the 30 interceptions, you know, but he also threw for 5,000 yards, and he also threw for 30 touchdowns. You know, so
actually, isn't it? So if you're going to throw the ball more often, you're going to account more interceptions as a result.
Exactly, you have to. So I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. You're not going to throw the ball as much as you did last year when you had an older quarterback. You're just not going to do it. I mean, Brady himself isn't going to do that. I mean, they're giving him control of the offense. So he's going to step in there and he's going to say, this is what I like to do. This is what I want to do. Now tell me what you like and what you want to do. Okay, I'll do that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's what we're going to be looking at this year in terms of Tom Brady. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. And the 2 guys stepping up into his position down at the Patriots, and see who would actually be the starting quarterback, will also be interesting. An interesting battle going on there, unless maybe they'll get someone else. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they brought in Brian Hoyer during free agency, which gives you, a nice veteran presence. I mean, then you also got the backup in Jarrett Stidham, who I actually interviewed.
From Auburn, isn't he? If I remember rightly.
What's that?
Did I get that wrong? He's from Auburn, isn't he, or did he play for
Auburn? Yeah. He played for Baylor, then Auburn.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the kid is I think he could go out there and he could spin it for him. You have Brian Hoyer, who's been around the league, that could teach him. Tom Brady has taught him, last year. So I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be rather interesting. So yeah, man.
So
I know my football.
you got if you got Rumboy Fantasy Network on, you got to talk about football at some point.
Oh yeah,
It's just like the must you have to do. What I will now say is, well, I've say is that obviously we've been talking about COVID-19 and going well off topic in many areas, and its relation to sport. We can't take from the fact that this is quite a dangerous virus and it is killing people worldwide. Nearly 8 to 10% of those in Iran, although we can't judge the figures, have died, and in other countries it's more like 3% of those who catch it die. So that's quite high. According to Roy Lab, well, I checked this out before. The stats are 520,000 people have caught the virus so far, and 23,000 deaths, which is massively high.
It is.
We can't, even though we're mentioning stats here, we can't take the fact that this is the human life and the humanity behind it. It kind of takes it away when we look at the stats, especially the Roy Lab things that get updated every 10 seconds on a live stream on YouTube. But yeah, so there's that happening. USA, 79,000 cases, 1,118 deaths. UK, 11,500, 578 deaths. Obviously, Italy's up there with nearly 80,000 as well. China's. Yep. So yeah, that's quite a downer to kind of end it on. But there's still opportunities to be had from people. I'm talking about recessions as well. Even though this is dark times, there are opportunities potentially. I'm not saying you should take advantage and profiteer from the situation, but use this time to either reflect, develop a business, develop opportunities, and then hopefully we'll get around the other side a different person, possibly.
Exactly. No, I mean, make sure, like I've been encouraging this whole time, make sure you guys are following the steps. You're practicing, social distancing and social isolation. Just you and your immediate family in your home. Don't go out if you don't need to. If you're on lockdown order, then follow your lockdown order. Unless you absolutely positively need to go out, and go out. Yep, keep calm and carry on. I love it. We're gonna get through this. You guys, don't worry. Just relax. It's all good. This is a perfect time to binge watch plenty of immersive sports science. This is a good time. Yep, and a good time to binge watch plenty of Rumboyz Fantasy Network. So make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube and check us out.
Immersive sports science, not bro science. You can check, obviously, Rumboyz Fantasy Network at rumboyz.net. Is there anything else you want to add to that, like where we can find you? Most of the guys here seem to be from Rumboyz anyway, but yeah, might as well say it.
I mean, yeah, follow us at Rumboyz, spelled with the Z, N-E-T, like you see it spelled here. Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And rumboyz.com is where you can find my whole writing staff holding it down with the best sports articles.
Cool. So remember to follow and subscribe Rumboyz, and I'll see you another day.
Dilly.
I need to get beer now.